Who is Gilpin and what impact did he have on the Wye? By Ellie Watkins. In the late 18th and early 19th century, it was fashionable to take a boat tour down the Wye Valley. People took these trips to marvel at fantastic views and picturesque landscapes. They also took walks, dined in restaurants, and visited ruins. Wye Tours was one of the first package holidays. Rector D.J. Egerton was one of the first people to build a boat specifically to take guests on excursions down the Wye. By the late 18th century, several boats started to operate due to the demand.
In 1782, but written in 1770, the first tour guide in Britain was published by William Gilpin. Gilpin said, "If you have never navigated the Wye, you have seen nothing." Tourists observed the scenery, not just the architecture. It attracted lots of interest from artists, poets, writers who cared to visit for ideas. Gilpin's book was an instant success. Many visitors kept diaries or journal about their visit. Today, the Wye, designated AONB, Area of Outstanding Natural Beauty, and the nation's most treasured landscapes.
After sailing for miles from Ross, we came to Goodrich Castle, where a grand view presented itself, and we rested on our oars to examine it. A reach of the river, forming a noble bay, is spread before the eye. The bank on the right is steep and covered with wood, beyond which a bold promontory shoots out, crowned with a castle, rising among trees. This view, which is one of the grandest on the river, I should not scruple to call correctly picturesque, which is seldom the character of a purely natural scene.
What is there to do in Goodrich?
Go and see Goodrich Castle. You can go for a nice walk on Goodrich Hill.
You can go to a tennis club and a cricket club. What can you do on the River Wye?
You can swim up and down it. Go on boats and see all the beautiful wildlife.
You can go canoeing. What did you learn about William Gilpin?
He travelled up and down the River Wye looking at everything that was there. He wrote a book.
It told people about his journey when he went on the River Wye.
And now they can go on it and read the book and try and look for the stuff that it says in there.
It was 200 years ago. Why do you think the River Wye is important to our area?
For the wildlife, because it attracts tourists.
In following the course of the Wye, which makes here one of its boldest sweeps, we were carrying almost round the castle, surveying it in a variety of forms. Many of these retrospects are good. The views from the castle were mentioned to us as well examining, but the rain was now set in and would not permit us to land.
Do you remember when we went to the Goodrich Castle?
Oh yeah, it was so nice.
Yeah, I liked the shape of the bricks and the colours.
Yeah, it made it look really old.
In general, however, the artist may obtain views of such parts of nature as with the addition of a few trees or little alteration in the foreground, which is liberty that must always be allowed, may be adapted to his rules, though he is rarely so fortunate as to find a landscape completely satisfactory to him.
As we leave Goodrich Castle, the banks on the left, which had hitherto contributed less to entertain us, began now principally to attract our attention, rearing themselves gradually into grand steeps, sometimes covered with thick woods, and sometimes forming vast concave slopes of mere verdure.